So today what we're doing is, or tonight, I said, golly, I said a while back that, hey everybody. I said a while back that I would stream the Range Touch Discord community's most recent tournament that we did. We did a Magic Arena tournament, and like last time, I streamed the finals, streamed some commentary with Danny for the finals, and Danny's not here this time, but I'm going to stream it. So this is just commentary. Our finals were Virtuosphere and Lake Scum slash Sadie, who maybe are both in the chat, or maybe not. Virtuosphere I can see is in the chat. Hey everybody. But, sorry, I'm looking at the chat over here. Hey, everyone is in here. It's Seer. It's Lake Scum. I'm in the shadow room. I'm in my new office. I don't have very much like my previous office. I don't have very many lights in it. But that's a temporary problem. Not a continual, eternal problem. So, let me know, my whole setup has changed a little bit, so let me know if you can't hear me or if you need anything else. Butts Gatsby, thanks for the follow here. And just let me know if the audio is fine or anything like that. So I'm just going ahead and I'm going to turn this on here. There we go. You should be able to see that. Let me know if you can't. I'm just going to turn this on and we're going to go. It looks like this is 44 minutes. We'll probably skip some sideboarding here and some stuff like that. But we're just going to watch it. So Virtuosphere is the perspective that we're watching from. So we don't have full information necessarily as we're watching, but it's close enough. Okay, I'm getting the audio is a little bit blown out. What about now? Is the audio a little bit better now? Let's make sure this is all the way up. Yeah, here we go. All right, we're getting that good quality here. Let me know if the audio is still messed up in some way, and I can fix it. But this tournament took place a couple weeks ago. Finished up, and I said I would stream the finals, and I just haven't had time because I was moving and things like that. So anyway, this is a Naya deck that Virtuosphere is playing. I know that the the deck lists were posted, but I didn't look at them. So, but looks like got Krinko and Wild Growth Walker and things like that going on, and Lake Scum is opting and doing kind of control decky kind of stuff. Looks like a Simic deck maybe. We'll see. So Nessa's asking in the chat if there are going to be more tournaments for MTG Arena on the Discord. There will absolutely be that. I've organized the past two. Jutranjo organized a Pauper tournament that kind of, I think, was a bad time for a lot of people, so they kind of didn't work out. But I encourage people to organize tournaments if they want to. You just got to be on people about playing their matches, but people are pretty good about it. We have a good time. So, it looks like Virtuosphere is maybe holding the Wild Growth Walker back. Let's see here. Nope, just going to play it out. Going to commit to the board. Of course, Blast Zone up here. I wonder if you can see my cursor, right? Yeah, you can. The Blast Zone up here being able to be have counters added to it, and then, of course, destroying things on the board. So right now, these 1/1 tokens, for example, can be destroyed on the board due to the number of tokens or less, I believe, in the Blast Zone. Yeah, the Pauper tournament was fun. I think it was good. I didn't have time to play in it, but it just looked like it was during a very busy time. Is it non-token creatures that are Blast One? Oh, it's only exact. Okay. Not equal to or less than. That's very good. All right, so it looks like Virtuosphere has a pretty commanding board presence here. Getting solidified by this Nissa, who I'm assuming will +1 and then add some. Okay. That'll add an attacker here with Vigilance. Nissa, who shakes the world, is a pretty brutal Planeswalker card. And so this is looking pretty rough for Lake Scum here. This Temple Garden. 3/3 tokens on it. I haven't really seen a lot of wild growth walker stuff here. There hasn't been a lot of exploring, which triggers the wild growth walker. You gain a little bit of life, and you put some 1/1 counters on the walker. Down to 6. I don't know what gets Lake Scum out of this one. Virtual Sphere playing a Domri here, I think probably solidifies it up. So let's see what happens here. This could, anything could happen, I'm guessing, but no Settle the Wreckage over there, nothing like that. It's an interesting choice being made here to untap the Stomping Ground, unless we're doing it for mana, maybe? No? Okay, we got Domri. Everything's attacking for more. Are we going to get an all attack here? Yeah, looks like we are. Krinko triggers. Okay. So Root Snare is going to prevent all combat damage till end of turn. So it's a big swing out and a swing and a miss, as they say. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine. It's just additional pressure for next turn. Hard to know, yeah, what's going on across the board to some degree. Just because I don't know the deck list here, but it's interesting. So I'm assuming fogs are happening up into Nexus of Fates or something like that. Lake Scum has full 8 cards in hand, so got to play that land. Oh, Wilderness Reclamation. Okay. So there's Lake Scum might just have enough fogs and things of that nature. So by fog, I mean spells that prevent damage from happening to kind of grind it out here. But it's going to take Nexuses and fogs, and a lot of them. So let's see. Let's find out. Okay, there's one, Nexus of Fate. Nexus of Fate is the bane of everyone's existence. 7 mana, take an extra turn after this one with Wilderness Reclamation. If you're not familiar with the deck, you can tap all your mana with the Wilderness Reclamation trigger on the stack, and then it untaps your lands, and you tap them again, and so you can generate basically double your mana every turn. Tameo is going to start help. So you need 2 things, right? You need Wilderness Reclamations. You need to play Nexus of Fate. Nexus of Fate gets shuffled back into your library, but then you need to start chaining together Nexuses of Fate. So you need more and more. Lake Scum is naming Nexus of Fate there to try to search one out with Tameo's +1 or +2 ability. So looking like good stuff. I mean, this is just classic Nexus of Fate kind of stuff. All right, there we go. Finding another one. Nexus of Fate's giving Lake Scum another turn, and Virtual Sphere is just kind of having to sit here while or sitting across the board from Solitaire being played, kind of. Virtual Sphere in the chat giving a little bit of context here. As backstory, this is what Virtual Sphere is saying. As backstory, this was a rematch. We had faced each other in a winner's bracket before, so we knew what was in store from the other side. So this is, their 4th, at least 2nd game against one another, but could be up to their 4th game against one another, depending on if it went to 3 in the previous one. I don't have the bracket in front of me to look. Okay, so now that we're stacking multiple Wilderness Reclamations here, so Lake Scum can get up to, it's going to be 6, 7, 14, 21 mana per turn. Not on this turn, of course, but in oncoming turns. That could fuel a lot of different stuff. Could draw out the entire deck with Hydroid Krasis. If that were kind of a strategy here, could put a bunch of stuff in the graveyard with Tameo, just looping Tameo and plussing Tameo here. And you'll notice, I mean, this is kind of the brutality of the Nexus of Fate deck, is that, Virtual Sphere with no instant speed interaction here and no counter spells in hand, you just kind of can't do anything. You have to wait for it to happen. Blink of an Eye is coming up here to reset the Krinko. Krinko, when it attacks, you add a 1/1 counter and then put Goblins equal to Krinko's power into play, which was just at 5. That's awesome. That's getting 5 tokens every turn, and now that is going to be back down to a lowly 1/2 that becomes a 2/3. So kind of an unfun thing to have happen to you there. We're seeing more Nexus of Fate. Running out of cards in hand. Really, really what you want here with these 2 Wilderness Reclamations out and the Nexus of Fate. You really want to see Chemister's Insight. You want to see a little bit of card draw. Tameo, of course, is helping you do that. Putting Chemister's Insight just now into the graveyard, which means that Lake Scum can flash it back, or whatever it's called, whatever the pseudo jumpstart, the pseudo flashback. Hey, it's Jordo in the chat. Thanks for stopping by, Jordo. I've got my trusty water here with me, and I somehow accidentally filled it up with hot water, so it's really hot. And Virtuosphere apparently very tired of watching Solitaire across the table and is conceding here. Virtuosphere, what's up with the concession there? You just thought you're not going to have it no matter what, so you might as well get some extra time in for the next couple games, or what do you think? So it looks like Virtuosphere signing in Cindervines here, which punishes. Hopefully we'll see it happen so we can talk through the interaction. Domri's Ambush, which is a fight card. Things like that. Like Scum, you're in the chat. Can you talk a little bit about what your sideboarding strategy was, since we don't see your side of the table, and I'll read it out here. Virtuosphere saying, said he had 2 turns stacked up, 28 cards in deck, a cameo, and I had to work in an hour. That's a very good reason to do it. You had things to do. That makes sense to me. Cindervines, hopefully we'll see the interaction at some point in the next 2 games, but the point is that it punishes other players for playing non-creature spells. It's fairly cheap, so you can get on the board early, and I think it can destroy artifacts or enchantments or something like that if you sack it. That's not really the the full reason you would want it. So yeah. I feel like my hair keeps falling, really giving me a kind of like a bowl cut look to it. Looks like Lake Scum's taking a little bit longer the Virtuosphere took to sideboard, but I think there's a minute and a half or a minute to sideboard, something like that. Lake Scum says, yes, I'm cooking pork, so in and out, but I was bringing in the Blue God Eternal, so Kefnet, life gain, stuff like that. So just kind of value low to the ground stuff, it seems like Sadie's saying. All right, so this is 4 lands, a Domri's Ambush, a Krinko, and a Nissa. This looks like something I would keep. Looks good to me. Domri's Ambush, of course, puts a 1/1 counter on something, so if you're really trying to add pressure to the board, you could Krinko and then Domri's Ambush the next turn in order to get an extra 1/1 counter on Krinko. It's not the worst thing to do, but an even better... or not even better, but a good turn to play getting drawn here with Merfolk Branchwalker. 2/1 that explores, draws Virtuosphere land. So that's good. That's great. That's 5 lands in hand. That's enough for Nissa and Vivian now. I don't know why Vivian... I mean, Vivian's a good value creature, or not creature, but planeswalker, but no unique value against the... Nexus of Fate deck. Vivian can destroy a flyer or artifacts or enchantments with the minus ability. So I guess I can get this God Eternal. But God Eternals, of course, if you're familiar with the card, they go 3rd from the top of your library. They don't actually die or get killed or anything like that. Vivian Reed also is not one of the War of the Spark planeswalkers, so Vivian doesn't have a cool static ability like Nissa, who allows your lands to tap for additional mana. So just a good card. It's going to help Virtuosphere dig a little bit deeper into their library, but it's not going to... it's not an I win card. Okay, so setting up a scenario here, using the Domri's Ambush fight card to do what I was talking about before, increase the power on Krinko, and then fight with Krinko, or not fight, but punch, I guess, with Krinko to deal damage, to set up a scenario in which if Kefnet blocks, then it trades with Krinko. Virtuosphere is getting 2 for 1 there, but it at least gets Kefnet off the board for a few turns. I get it. That makes sense to me, and that'll give Virtual Sphere time to get Vivian Reed on the board as well, or Nissa, depending on where they want to go. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Virtual Sphere is pointing out in the chat that Vivian Reed destroys Wilderness Reclamation. That makes a lot of sense to me. Although often the turn you play Wilderness Reclamation is also the turn that they can start going off a Nexus of Fate. Or very soon after. So kind of I guess this is a good just value play. Worst comes to worst, it's going to be able to tick up and then look at the top X cards of libraries and things like that. So that's okay. I mean, I'm not mad about Vivian. I think it's a good card. Ugin. We got Kefnet coming back. Is that 3 because of Search for Azcanta. So, yeah, seeing a couple extra cards there. Virtual Sphere is ticking up Nissa, and then getting Vivian Reed in there, who is going to destroy God Eternal Kefnet. And I guess the logic here, which makes a lot of sense to me, is that if you can keep the pressure up and you can keep Kefnet off the board so that like Scum's not getting additional value off of that card, then win-win. It's enough damage this turn, right? There we go, yeah. Okay, so it's 1-1 currently. Like Scum won the first one, Virtual Sphere wins the second one, and now we are on to game 3. Does Virtual Sphere's sideboarding strategy change? And like Scum, did your sideboarding strategy change in any way? It is also Virtual Sphere, yes. It is also lethal. Removing the only blocker and having like 8 attacking creatures, that'll win the game. Jordo's in the chat, making it happen. I'm all about it. Jordan's in the chat saying nobody asked if my sideboarding strategy changed. Jordan, did your sideboarding strategy change? Let me put my hair behind my thing. Like so I'm saying, I was thinking of bringing in some biogenic ooze and taking out a Nexus. So going to less all in on the combo win, I guess. Oof. This is a cool hand against Nexus of Fate, but this is a bad hand in that it has no ability to play any cards. Virtual Sphere in chat saying this hurt, which makes a lot of sense to me. That would hurt my feelings quite a bit. So going in from there. That's okay, though. So, goes down to 6. Scries Temple Garden to the top. And Lake Scum, you went to 6 as well, right? Correct? Let's see here. Whoa. Search for Azcanta here for Lake Scum. And Cindervines, Night of Autumn also in here to destroy some enchantments. Maybe we'll see Night of Autumn destroy Search for Azcanta. That devilish card advantage machine that it turns into. But we'll see here. Could just become a big attacker as well. Nope, destroying target artifacts or enchantments. And passing the turn, presumably. Kind of a bummer here to see down that Jade Light Ranger to 2 green, of course, and then any, but can't be played this next turn. So looks like short of drawing a green mana, Virtual Sphere is going to be playing a Branch Walker this turn. Meanwhile, Lake Scum has 4 mana open. That means a Wilderness Reclamation, get on a empty board basically, or a board that that has no onboard way to well, no, Cindervines is an onboard way to destroy it, I guess, right? Anything could happen. Is all I'm saying, y'all. Hard to keep up with the game. This is why official Magic streams always have 2 people talking. Okay, so that's Chameo milling a couple Chemister's Insights. It's going to be really great. 4 mana is going to allow that to happen. And then that Domri's Ambush is going to allow Night of Autumn to kill Chameo. It's going to get rid of a little bit of the card advantage machine. It also means, though, that Virtual Sphere is not digging any deeper with Merfolk Branch Walker. So still not hitting that 4th land, and Lake Scum is up to 5 lands. Hit every land drop so far And this is always, in this type of matchup, in a second Chameo, this is always the kind of rough trade-off you're making, right? Chameo is always going to keep your opponent drawing cards, and missing land drops is just, annihilating, especially when you're close. And so, hard choice to have to make is all I'm saying. And Virtuous Sphere is doing the exact same thing one more time, but making Knight of Autumn even bigger. Maybe if it just happens 2 or 3 more times, then the punch will be able to do it, and Knight of Autumn can start attacking life totals here. Yeah, and Lexion pointed out in the chat that naming Crushing Canopy was to find Crushing Canopy to maybe kill the Cinder Vines that turn. And with that mana advantage that Lexion is generating, it's going to be that's a positive choice for sure. Because even that Cinder Vine's pinging once, every non-creature spell. Both of those card draw spells up there, for example, the Chemist's Insights, those are going to be pinging for 1. Right. This is what we're seeing. This copy, that's interesting. The copy of the card, I guess that makes sense because you are casting a copy. But that's pinging for 1. So all our card advantage, all our really cool stuff being done, but Cinder Vines is just there to punish it. And you could imagine a world in which Virtuous Sphere had gotten the other Cinder Vines out earlier, maybe not being pressured by that Cameo so much, and then really being able to, punish these non-creature spells. But not necessarily the case, and able to kill their Wilderness Reclamation before the end step trigger. Awesome. Still not drawing that extra land, though. And attacking here, yeah. In order to just try to get the God Eternal off the board. That makes a lot of sense to me. It's off, still applying a little bit of pressure. This is just really great kind of marginal play coming out of the Naya deck, meaning that every little bit of advantage, if you can trade 1 for 1 with a kind of pseudo control deck, you want to be trying to trade 1 for 1 with the pseudo control deck, and you can see this life total difference really mattering. Even if Lexion stabilizes, any card that Virtuous Sphere can play that's going to be able to pressure that board position is going to be really good. So this is kind of a nail-biting game. This is lethal next turn. Let's see what's happening. One more God Eternal. All right. Not enough mana to play a Wilderness Reclamation. Can block one thing here, though. Maybe Cinder Vines here. This is it's kind of a nail biter, right? One removal spell means it's game over. Jordo's in the chat saying nails bitten. Another search for Azcanta. Oh, hey, look at that. Is that enough to get it all the way through? I don't think it is. Well, it's a curious position. I think I would play... I don't... Okay. So getting the Kefnet off the board again. But down to a 2-1 here with no board position advantage. I mean, got a 2-1, but that's still a 2-turn clock. This is the moment where I, as a player, would, because we released deck lists before this came out, the finalists both gave each other their deck lists. And I think this is a scenario in which I would have, instead of attacking into the Kefnet, played Cinder Vines and then really been looking at the deck list that I had in order to determine, out of the number of cards that are remaining in the game, what could happen here. And having a Cinder Vines out here would have meant that Wilderness Reclamation pings for 1, and you can destroy either Azcanta or Wilderness Reclamation or whatever in order to get that extra 2 damage. So this would be like a time where I was looking at like the marginal percentages of how to actually win the game. But with the Nexus of Fate stacked up here, a God Eternal on the battlefield, and a Azcanta who's digging into the library, I think it's going to be pretty hard. Counterspell? Cindervines is coming out. Negate. Okay. Then Virtuous Sphere, she's got to pass the turn. Yeah, this went from a very commanding presence, or a very marginal, not commanding, I guess, but kind of single percentage points to every time that Lake Scum is able to untap that board, untap those lands with Wilderness Reclamation. The position gets worse and worse for Virtuous Sphere. Virtuous Sphere saying, I regretted that thrash. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is something easy for me while I'm kind of looking at it objectively and not having to think through the game, right? But and with the Nexus on the stack, we get a Virtuous Sphere concession that is a 2-1 for Lake Scum, making. So the what happened is that they did it because of course Magic Arena does not have a best of 5 option. It's only best of 3. They did a best of 3 and then a best of 1 and then a best of 1. So this is a as Lake Scum put it, old school sideboards, in the sense of doing sideboarding and then just coming back into the game. Makes a lot of sense to me. There we go. All right, so that's 3 of 5. Or that's 3 games down out of 5. Someone needs to win 3 of 5 in order to win the whole deal. Virtuous Sphere is keeping a hand here of a Sacred Foundry and a Karn's Bastion, which is a tight choice because you can see the colors of mana that Virtuous Sphere needs here. And probably it looks like looking for an emote there that was probably lands. That's the one I would be looking for. Ooh, great Root Mountain Crags. They're in the gate across the board. There's not. Cindervines is down. And that's something, of course, that we were talking about extensively last time. So hopefully it works out here. Virtuous Sphere said, hovering over that oops for the audience. Yeah, this is an interesting scenario in which it does make a whole lot of sense to just keep the hand with your sideboard card in it. Lake Scum's deck's not going to get going, until turn 4, turn 5. It seems like Tamiyo and Wilderness Reclamation, both on turn 4, are really going to be the key cards there. And so I guess you can kind of afford to wait a little bit. 2 Nine of Autumns are really good as well for destroying that Wilderness Reclamation. So let's see what happens. There we go. There's one. Getting that ping in. You can hear a siren going around my, down my house, around my house, near my house. Blast Zone getting the Cindervines. Got another Night of Autumn. Going to destroy the Wilderness Reclamation here. Swinging in for 4, taking Lake Scum down to a 15 rather than Virtuous Sphere's 20. I was wondering why there was another 20 minutes. That makes a lot of sense. Another Wilderness Reclamation. And another Cindervines. Counterspell? I don't know. This is going in the tank about whether to get Cindervines and inciting in response to keep from getting that one single ping. It's all about the margins, like I was saying before. So makes a lot of sense to me. Lake Scum is up 2-1 in the series so far, best of 5. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 from Domri's Ambush. So Virtuous Sphere's got lethal on the board right now. If that Cindervines gets sacked and hits the Wilderness Reclamation, say end of turn or during the second main before the trigger. So let's see what happens here. Lake Scum says that pause there was just another one. If it's not, the word is not the word is a ruder word than that. So playing a tapped land here, maybe a Tameo, search for Escanta. Okay, Cindervine's going to ping for 1, and that means that this is Virtuous Spear's got it locked up if there's no blocker here. Like some oopsing, an aggressive oops across the board there. Yeah, I think that I think I would Cindervines the Wilderness Reclamation during the second main and just hope that Lake Scum doesn't have a Root Snare or something like that. But Root Snare is there. Cindervines is going to ping. No combat damage is being dealt this turn. That's okay. Got a Thrash in hand. It's playable here. Got a Domri's Ambush that's playable. I believe that's an instant. I hope it is. So yeah, that's it. Yep, Virtual Sphere saying I kept it because of the fog chance. That makes a lot of sense. Just in my mind, every time you can destroy a Wilderness Reclamation before a trigger is on the stack is like a good time to do so. Especially because during your instep here, because of the untapped trigger, it's giving Memorial to Genius the ability to open up for cards, right? Because that's 5 mana to do that. Or it could be 6. If it's 6, it doesn't matter, I guess. Well, they could have floated mana. So, it doesn't matter. It didn't happen, so... it is unimportant. But, so the only out here, okay, so bouncing Cindervines is a good out, I guess. Sacking Cindervines in response, that's going to fizzle Callous Dismissal. It's going to fizzle that Amass trigger, which is going to be really good, meaning that Lake Scum is not going to get that extra 1 blocker here. It's all about the margins at this point. I don't really know, short of pulling a Nexus here, and a few more mana. I don't quite know what Lake Scum's path to victory is here, but we're going to find out. We're going to see. Yeah, like some pointing out that Domri's Ambush is not an instant, which, being an ambush doesn't make a lot of sense, but Lake Scum giving it up 2-2 in this best of 5, so this really does kind of bring us down to the final match, right? Yeah. But it's looking. This is a good series. This is a great series. This is not even if it had only been the first 3, it would have been good. But it's not just the first 3. We're seeing Llanowar Elves, I think, for the first time here. So maybe we're gonna power out a Night of Autumn on turn 2. That'd be okay. That'd be fun. Oh, I'm sleepy. Oh, coming for me. It's late. Yeah, the Discord matchmaking in Arena either works really well or doesn't work at all, it seems. Second Karn's Bastion here. Maybe not the play or the land you want to draw when you've got Domri in hand here. We still haven't seen Ugin come down either, which is interesting. So making a choice between Temple Garden or Karn's Bastion here. Going maybe with it. Nope. Paying 2 life. And then Night of Autumning in and blowing up the Search for Escanta. Makes sense to me. Very good. Jordo says in the chat, shout out to Virtuous Sphere for keeping their hand organized. Yes. Very good. Very good work. Shalai coming out. Shalai, of course, giving Planeswalkers and you and other permanents. Other creatures? I don't know. Something. Hexproof. Doesn't necessarily seem to be a big deal in this match, but all those marginal things are going to be good. And importantly, going to be a big flying clock. 3-4 in the air. Now we can get Domri in the mix. Let's see if it gets countered. Nope. Okay. So that's going to be a just ticking Domri up for no effect. Just for some mana. And making Domri big, and then swinging in for a big 9. So this is 1 turn. Okay. Yep. So Virtual Sphere can hit for another 9 next turn. Also playing Karn's Bastion and using the mana off Domri next turn, going to be able to play an Ugin and remove a permanent from the battlefield. So or not a permanent, but well, let's see. Oh, look, we're getting very antsy. Oh, is this Nexus of Fate? No, Chemister's Insight. Okay, and King Chemister's one more time, I guess, but no Nexus. But gotta have a root snare here, maybe, right? Let's find out. Let's find out. Ah! Ah! Oof. Snared. Lots of fog. That's no combat damage this turn. But enough mana up to activate a card in Sebastian. Actually, no 1/1 counters on anything, but could at least proliferate. Not this turn, obviously, because tapped out, but could proliferate Ugin, Domri, stuff like that. That'd be okay. It's not the worst thing to happen. Jordo saying that Virtuous Sphere plays fast. I'd say, to be fair, kind of a linear deck. Not a lot of decision points to be made at this point. Once you get up to 6 mana, I guess it's a little bit of a different story. But let's see what happens here. And Stomping Ground. Ugin's going to make a 2/2 here out of a mountain. Gonna make Knight of Autumn Punch Chameo. Leaving the Llanowar Elves back would... Oh, no. Just using the Domri. Let's see here. Another Root Snare. Yep. So using the Domri here would allow Virtuous Sphere to Karn Sebastian and proliferate. Let's see if that happens. Nope. I don't know why. Virtuous Sphere, did you just miss that interaction, or you weren't interested in doing it? Just because, it's not like there was anything else going on that turn. Yeah. This is not... I don't even know if I would just straight up call this an aggro deck, but it's like, Ness in the chat is saying there's just not a lot of options for this deck against a Nexus deck, so it's not like there's a lot of decision points. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Virtuous Sphere's only option here is to just keep the pressure up and then make 1-for-1 trades as best as the deck can, and has been very successful at that so far. So, okay. Okay, so getting rid of Tameo here. There's another Root Snare in hand. But you got to make them have it. You got to use it. Keeping Shalai back, which is interesting. Root Snare. So that's 3 Root Snares down. Or no. A couple got recollected from Tameo, right? Nexus of Fate. This is really all we're waiting on here. If Nexus comes down, then it's game over. Or it's not game over, but if Wilderness Reclamation comes down, either, I guess. But basically, all I'm saying is the longer the game goes, the higher the percentage that the combo hits. And, we got a good game. Search for Azcanta coming down. And that's going to be Virtuous Sphere being the winner, I think. Let's get it all the way to the end. Everyone's playing it out. Kudos to everybody for playing it out. Boom, boom, boom. Hey. Yeah, it's a mid-range deck, Nessa, I would say. Woo. All right, great. Well, that was an excellent... Let's make sure that no other videos start playing here, but that was a great... It was a great time, everybody. I enjoyed that. I had a great time casting it and talking about it. So yeah. Like Scum says, I think we passed it, but there was a moment in one of those games where when I cast Nexus, when Kefnet was near the top, which I think was just a punch. Because you knew that Kefnet was there. We're not going to segue into a Princess Diana content stream. I'm sorry. Although I will say, I do have some things to show you, just for fun. Well, everyone, let's give a round of applause. Round of applause to Virtuosphere for winning the prize. Virtuosphere, I'll contact you about the prize via Discord DM somewhere else. Yeah, that was great. So hopefully, looking forward to the next tournament, next range touch tournament. I'll play and I'll make it about halfway through again before being eliminated. But I have a good time. This is the second time that Lexicom has been in the finals, winning last time. But yeah, great, excellent.